hooked up.
Good.
I've paid the subscription. Now all we got to do is turn her on.
Lovely. At last a decent sports channel, huh? Why is that fella naked? What's he doing with that javelin? Oh, Jesus!
Jesus!
What the hell's he doing with that other fella? What is this,
God.
Rodge?
Huh?
What is this?
It's what you asked me to order. Gay sports.
Sky Sports. Jesus.
How was I to know? Should they have a channel for everything these days? You? For a fella's arse. That's not bad.
You're right, it's nice and smooth, isn't it? Will you turn it off? Jesus!
All right. Calm down, Dolores.
Oh, God. Anyway, we're probably better off. Sports are a dangerous pastime.
Huh?
Listen to this. Back in 1995, Colonel Seamus Saunders, the famous boxing promoter, was walking home to his fancy apartment when he heard a kerfuffle down an alley.
Oh, was it Muhammad Ali?
No. Jesus, it was two fellas who were having a punch-up.
All right. God, you need an awful lot of lubrication for a punch-up.
What?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said fist-up.
Jesus. The Colonel was going to ignore the scrap, but he noticed one of the fellas had a fantastic right hook. Oh. In fact, he hit the other lad so hard that he wasn't getting up.
Oh.
The poor bastard was dead.
No way. I don't believe
The
it.
distraught young fella asked Saunders to call an ambulance, but Saunders had other ideas.
We could do that.
He took him back to his apartment and told him to forget what had happened in the alley and signed him up as his latest protégé. And that was the night that Finbar Fists of Fury was born.
Finbar Fists of Fury, Ireland's most celebrated boxer after Eamon Tunnel Vision Mongie.
Who?
Oh, no, wait, he's the lawn bowler, isn't he? Sorry.
Just text me when your brain's working, huh? The Colonel took the fellow under his wing, and soon Finbar proved he was indeed a major talent, what with that lethal right hook. The boxing world became enthralled with the new fighter, as he quickly became the most promising lightweight in the British Isles. Finbar was indebted to the Colonel, who took him off the street and helped him realise his full potential.
Did he ever mention the alley incident?
No, well, not until the night of the biggest match of Finbar's career, the British Isles Big Bout.
Hello, son.
He was readying himself in the dressing room when the Colonel entered and asked Finbar how confident he was to take on Mad Bastard McBain, the Dundee Devil. Finbar assured the Colonel that this was the night he'd been building up to all his life. Well, that's a pity, said the Colonel, as you're going down in the third round.
What? The bad bastard. Why was he doing that after all he'd done for the poor fella?
Well, that's what Finbar wondered. But he soon realised that this had been the Colonel's plan all along. Building him up to take a mighty but lucrative fall for the Colonel, who had put all his money on the Dundee Devil to win. And there wasn't a damn thing that Finbar could do about it, unless he wanted to live out the rest of his life in jail for the murder in the alley.
Jeez. He had him between a rock and a hard place, huh?
Yes, thank you, Bruce Springsteen.
Bah.
The big fight got underway. Round one was a bit of a pantomime, and the crowd wanted more action. Round two was a different ball game altogether. The Dundee Devil was fast on his feet and managed to crack Finbar under the chin. Finbar automatically retaliated with a swift right hook, and McBain hit the canvas hard. The Colonel reminded Finbar exactly what was to go down in the next round.
The second's out, round 3.
both fighters met in the middle. Dundee Devil sent a flurry of punches, backing Finbar into the corner. The crowd roared. Finbar charged back at him, finishing him off with his trademark Fist of Fury. 8, 9, 10, and Finbar Fist of Fury was the new champ. But at what cost?
You must have met the wrong man, you little prick. I hope you like prison food, because that's what you'll be eating for the rest of your life.
Finbar didn't flinch. As in strutted McBain with his manager, the legendary Duncan
Well done, my boy.
Macduff.
You're the champ. See you, Saunders. You're all washed up.
You little bastard.
What the hell is going on?
The Colonel was equally confused. It turns out he had totally underestimated his protégé, who just before the fight had made a deal of his own with Macduff. Macduff put all his money on Finbar to win, and for a nice cut of the profits, McBain, the Dundee Devil, had no problem taking a dive. McBain did it for the money. Finbar did it for freedom.
How so, Fu Manchu?
Well, as part of the deal, McBain's henchmen took the Colonel into the shower room, and Finbar Fists of Fury's dark secret went to the grave.
Secret that went to the grave altogether. Yeah. Just one thing on that. If it's a secret that went to the grave, how come you know about it?
I'll show you how I know about it.
Huh?
This is how I know.
Oh!
Huh?
Oh!
Don't you ever question my
I
sovereignty ever again! You calling me a liar, huh?
Oh!
Huh? You stupid little bitch! Oh, take that, huh? High voltage, man!
Enough!
They call me a liar, did you? Huh?
Leather homo punts. Arsehole, gay boy. Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of shite that people collect over the years.
It's not all shite, you know.
No, this box here is full of your feces.
Yeah, they're not all my feces. It's a collection.
Please, I don't want to know.
I wonder what's in this one, huh?
Oh, Jesus, there's some queer bang off that one.
Oh, look at that. It's Mildred, huh? Here, I'd probably get a few bob for this down at the car boot sale.
Who the hell is going to want a second-hand blow-up woman, huh?
Well, we did.
Oh, yeah. Where did we get it again?
Huh? Oh, it was a gift from Father Flange, so we'd stay away from the recently deceased.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
We were young, dumb, and full of...
Yeah, Jesus, it's embarrassing thinking of those days.
Jesus, yeah.
Oh, come here, that reminds me of a great tale of embarrassment.
Huh?
French for embarrassment, that is.
Oh.
Fintan Felon was always up to no good. Scamming the arse off people left, right and centre. And one day, whilst reading the death notices, he came up with one of his most despicable scams.
Ooh. Tell us more, Robert Mugabe.
Right. Well, he went out and bought a big box full of sex toys. Dildos, nipple clamps, inflatables, robo-vag, plugs for up your hole, creams, whips and chains. And a huge selection of deprived porno DVDs and videos.
Oh, did he have School of Cock? Or Phil Bill 1 and 2, huh?
Shut your randy hole.
Eh.
Then he scanned through the death notices in the local paper.
Jeez, I don't like where this is going. The dirty fecker.
He would choose a suitable candidate, usually male. He would wait for a couple of days after the funeral and turn up on the widow's doorstep.
Huh?
Dressed as a delivery boy.
What?
And there Finton would be standing with his big House of Wank box bulging full of dirty, filthy articles. The shocked relative stood there as Finton handed over an invoice for the delivery. The stunned and mortally embarrassed widow read the bill that was made out to the recently deceased. And the poor mortified owl one would simply hand over a cheque and tell Finton to take away the box of perv.
A bit harsh. Oh, but what a scam, huh?
It was absolute genius. Every time they handed over a cheque without question, just to get rid of him. And he only ever needed one box of filthy goods.
Which I'm sure he sampled himself.
That goes without saying, Rodge.
Anyway, I can't say I've heard a better scam in all me feckin' life, though.
Oh, is that so, Hercule Porno? Well, every scam has a loophole.
A loophole? Would they be for up your arse now or for round your Mickey?
Jesus. One day, Finton arrived at the door of the recently deceased Mr. Crispin Murdoch, who had been buried only 2 days previous. He thought the widow would be ripe for the picking. He was quite surprised that Mrs. Murdoch invited him into the house, as usually they want to get rid of him as quickly as possible.
Ho ho! Randy Widow!
She led Finton into the front room and introduced him to her deceased husband's 2 brothers. She told them that Finton was delivering a pile of porno videos that her husband had ordered a week before he died.
Crispin. Porn. Yeah, Crispin porn, yeah.
And that's when they beat the living shite out of him.
Huh? But sure, why? Sure, how would they know that he didn't order the pornos, huh?
Because Finton had picked on the wrong corpse.
What?
Mr. Murdoch had been blind from birth. So what use would porno videos have been to him?
Oh, shite!
Finton woke up battered and bruised and got a dose of his own medicine. For once, he was the embarrassed party. He was mortified as he stood naked and securely handcuffed to a local park bench with a Mr. T vibrator where the sun don't shine.
A pit of the fool! Jeez, that's some story altogether. Although with all this talk of porn, jeez, you've really got me going now. Oh, I've a rampant horn on me.
Jesus.
Come here, would you be on for a sandwich?
Why not? You take her front door, I'll take her back door.
Oh, did you hear that, Mildred? Huh? You can be the villain. Come here, where's her valve?
Jesus, you're 65 and you don't know where a woman's valve is.
Oh, here we are.
All right, here, let's go.
Oh, feck it. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Jesus Christ, I'm stuck under here.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, have you got a cigarette, love?
Feckless arsegons. Stick your props up your hole.
Podge, can we get that? God, we really need it. We really need it.
Huh? We really need L voice The ice cube maker that makes ice in the shape of the king's head.
Yeah.
No!
Huh? Well, what about those then?
Telly cozies.
Yeah, telly cozies, like tea cozies, except for the telly, and there's one for each season. Look.
Jesus. Well, look, it's pointless hoarding and collecting a load of crap when fate could come round the corner and smack you in the face.
What you talking about, Willis?
Ronnie Black, or the Black Leopard as he was known, was one of Ireland's most successful thieves, or money relocators, as he liked to tell the ladies. He lived the good life from his spoils and always worked alone to avoid any unnecessary complications. And so far he had managed to avoid the long arm of the law.
Oh, he sounds like some go-boy, that fella.
Yeah. Anyway, he was in the middle of a bank heist. It was running like a dream, as he cleaned them out of thousands of untraceable notes. He wielded his gun like a true pro, yet prided himself on the fact that he had never injured a soul. As he was backing out of the building, a have-a-go hero security guard leapt off the floor and managed to rip Ronnie's mask off to reveal the Black Leopard's face for all to see. What?
I heard his dad was a bit hard of hearing.
Oh, here we go.
They called him the Deaf Leopard. Do you get that one, huh? You know the...
Yes! I get it. And you're going to get it in a minute if you don't shut your hole.
Yeah.
Interrupting me. A panic-stricken Ronnie burst out of the bank and pushed anything and anyone out of his path. He jumped onto his moped and sped away. Despite this major cock-up, Ronnie always had a contingency plan. His secret hideout. A small bunker stocked with a month's worth of supplies. He was going to vanish and lie low until the heat was off.
Oh, that fecker had thought of everything, huh?
Ah, you're not wrong, Rodge. The bunker had air conditioning, a freezer, a cooker, tinned food, bottled water, and some literature to while away the hours.
Literature, eh? Asian Butt Babe 6. That'd while away about 30 seconds. Hey, come here. If that bunker had everything, did it have one of them foot spas that massage your feet? Only €35 plus post and packaging.
Dream on! Your feet would turn to porridge if they ever hit water. Bah. After a couple of days, Ronnie was getting a bit frustrated. He couldn't help but play over the events of the heist in his head. Yes, he got the cash, but it was little consolation as his identity had finally been revealed. He knew he was stuck in this bunker home for at least a month. And to make matters worse, the bloody radio wasn't working.
Tell you what, my life would be empty without Marion in the morning.
Right. The minutes...
Her voice gives me the horn. Oh, yeah.
Jesus. The minutes, the hours and the days seemed to slow down and time almost stood still in Ronnie's bunker prison. And then a week later, the electricity went off.
Huh?
Shit, they've got me, was his initial reaction. He cocked the gun, pointed it at the door and waited.
Well, but wait a minute, maybe he just forgot to pay the bill. Sure, we've all done it. But now, of course, you can pay it in 2 clicks over the internet.
Oh, yeah. I'm a gun-wielding feckin' bank robber. Would you mind switching the lecky back on in the underground bunker, you feckin' gobsheen?
I'm only
You're only saying shite. Ronnie sat with the gun cocked for 3 days, but nothing happened. Paranoia was starting to set in, quickly followed by claustrophobia and stale air. He couldn't hack it any longer, and after only 3 weeks, he decided he'd risk going out.
Right. But what happened when he went out? Were the cops waiting for him or what?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. There didn't seem to be anyone around. Ronnie started to wonder. There were cars abandoned. Shop's empty. In fact, a deathly silence hung in the air.
All right, what in shag is going on, huh?
Ronnie had no idea. Until he found a newspaper dated the day after the robbery.
Huh?
There on the cover was the CCTV picture of him and a caption that read, "The man who killed the world."
Jesus.
Images from the day came flooding back. He remembered bumping into a man with a briefcase as he fled from the bank, and the briefcase hitting the ground. What he didn't realise was that he had unwittingly released the deadliest airborne virus in the world. And whilst he hid in his airtight bunker, human life was rotting into oblivion.
Jesus.
Oh, the man he had bumped into was the world-renowned scientist Professor Lombard, who had accidentally created the world's deadliest poison and was escaping from an Eastern European faction with the virus and its formula. The gang were after the virus for nefarious reasons. He passed the bank just at the wrong time when Ronnie was making his getaway.
Jesus. Talk about the wrong place at the wrong time, huh?
And by the time Ronnie resurfaced, he was the last man standing. Well, he wasn't standing for long as the guilt got to him. You see, a thief who had prided himself on never hurting a soul on one of his capers had just killed the world.
Ha ha! Bang bang! Bullet in the head! Thank you! I'm dead! Thank you!
Well, you see now, Rodge, you never know what's round the corner.
Yeah. Well, unless you have a corner scope. 15.49, postal packaging included.
You know, you'd buy shite if they were selling it.
Ah, but only celebrity shite.
Huh?
Look!
Oh.
Ah, hey, look at that. This is David Hasselhoff's turd, and it only cost me €90, huh? And look, and it's got his thumbprint on the end. Look.
That is one big lump of shite.
Yeah, great value.
Bit like his career.
You're right, yeah. But isn't it great, though, to have an international star's shite sitting on your kitchen table, huh?
God, it's humbling, Rodge. Humbling it is. Hey, come here. Have you got any Jennifer Lopoos?
Jennifer Anistools. And Brad Shits.
Oh, what about William Shatner?
No.
No, that doesn't work.
Would you like a sniff?
Oh, come on! I've had her. And him. I got the horn. Christ almighty. Back to the misery. Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on here? Right.
Who's a pretty boy, huh?
What in bollocks is that? Food! Great, I'm feckin' starving. Oh, Jesus. I'll put the oven on.
No, he's not for eating, Podge.
Huh?
It's me new pet, Pascal.
Christ, do I really need this in me life?
Oh, listen to this. Say, hello, bollocks. Hello, bollocks. Did you hear that? He can talk.
Talking animals are Satan's work.
Huh?
Do you not know Dr. Doolittle was sent to the gallows for talking to creatures?
Jesus, they killed Eddie Murphy. The bastards, huh? Oh,
Jesus Christ. Anyway, where in the hell did you get that?
midget bingo.
You're too tall for midget bingo, Rodge. Get up!
Ah, feck it. Anyway, it was destiny. Lady Luck was shining on me.
Yeah, Lady Luck isn't all she's cracked up to be. Life has its ups and downs, and you wouldn't want to be dependent on Lady Luck. You see, as one person lands on their feet,
Hello, Phelps Financial Services. Lorraine speaking. Can I help you? All right. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, sir. Can I just get your details?
Another can land on their arse.
Hello, Phelps Financial Services. Violet speaking. How can I help you? Well, sir, I'm afraid that's going to be a big problem.
Danny Veckens was a decent fella, but his business was on the line. He had just finished a huge order, but hadn't paid his workers for a month. And he desperately needed an extension on his already bulging loan. His next instalment was due on the Friday, and all he needed was 2 days' grace so he could pay the wages and then pay off the loan.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. I mean, there's got to be flexibility when you're in business, you know.
Yeah, thank you, Michael Smurfshit. But you're right, the 2 days extension was the difference between keeping the business going or losing his shirt. But Phelps Financial Services had been good to Danny so far, and the manager, Alan Wellbent, was a decent enough stick.
Is that for me, Bob?
But unfortunately, he wasn't available to talk that day.
But, sir, I've already told you Mr. Wellbent is off sick today. But I'm sure I could help you.
Oh, Jesus. He got the bitch from hell.
Yep, she was about as cooperative as a shit on your best shoes.
An extension, Mr. Veckens. I hardly think so. We're not a charity. We need our money by noon on Friday.
The sweat began to roll down Danny's forehead. He explained that Mr. Wellbent had given him an extension once before, and he had paid that loan back in full. But the miserable hooer wasn't budging.
Once is business, twice is bad business. I'm afraid there'll be no bending of the rules.
Danny was convinced he could hear the relish in Violet's voice. She was enjoying listening to him squirming. It wasn't that she couldn't accommodate his wishes, it's just that she didn't want to. She enjoyed playing God.
The callous minge bucket, huh? She was loving it, lording over people, playing with their lives.
You're not wrong, Rodge. And it wasn't long until the normally mild-mannered Danny began to lose his cool. But that's exactly what she wanted, to wind the poor unfortunate bastard up until he broke.
Look, people's lives are at stake here. I could lose everything over a couple of days.
There's no need to raise your voice to me, Mr. Veckens. I'm only trying to help you.
Please, look, please, I'm begging you.
And even when Danny begged, she wouldn't budge.
That's all. I'll pay it back. I swear.
Next time you start up a business, I would advise you to plan it a little better. Goodbye.
And with that, she slammed the phone down and ate another Malteser.
The poor fella had put his life in her hands, and she tied it up in a plastic bag and thrown it into the river.
Right. Anyway, that was it for Veckens. He paid off the workers from his kids' college fund and closed the doors on his business and all his dreams. All because of 2 lousy days' grace and an uncooperative job's worth. The next day, Violet sat at her desk, ready to wield more misery, when a delivery boy arrived with a big bunch of flowers.
Who in shite would send El Duce flowers, huh?
Right enough, there was no note, but Violet was intrigued. That evening, the staff of Phelps Financial Services were heading home after another day's money lending. Danny sat in his car with the engine running and took one last swig from his whiskey bottle.
Uh-oh.
He'd sent the flowers to Violet as a simple way of identifying her. Once he saw the woman with the flowers, he floored the accelerator and drove right at the bitch who had single-handedly ruined his life. Violet stepped out of the building just in time to see Lorraine being scraped out from underneath the car with the flowers that she had given her still clutched in her bloodied hand.
Jesus, what in hell's name happened?
How was poor Danny to know that Violet was allergic to flowers? She had sold them to Lorraine for €3.
So the nice one got slaughtered, and the biatch gets to be a biatch forever. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Rodge, I've one question for you.
No, you can't do him in a tempura batter. He's my new pet, and we're not eating him.
No, of course not. No, but Rodge, what if he just keeled over during the night of natural causes, choked it on a worm, flew up the chimney, or some terrorist organisation took him out?
What are you getting at?
Well, all I'm wondering is, if an accident happened and he died, could we eat him then?
Well, I suppose. Jesus! Jesus! What in shite did you do that for?
Oh, sorry, accident. My finger slipped on the trigger here.
Oh, Jesus. Pascal! Pascal!
Listen, now that it's done, I mean the damage and all, why don't you pluck and I'll get stuffing, huh?
Yeah, all right, so.
Listen, dibs on the white meat. Red's a bit rich for me guts, you know.
Oh, yeah, right. Do you think we should have a service for him, though?
Yeah, right. Silver service.
Go on off with yous to bed.
He's still here.
Well, feck off!
I was watching one of them, looking round celebrities' houses programmes.
Oh, you were you?
Yeah. And here's a question. How come we don't have a home gym, huh?
Well, I've a question for you. What age will you be when you actually shite in the bowl as opposed to on the bowl and the seat?
I don't like sitting down. It's unhygienic.
Jesus Christ, there's a stool in the shape of South America caked onto the seat, you filthy shitehawk. When are you going to do something about it?
When it dries out and I can knock it into the bowl.
Oh, well, that's just lovely. Jeez. And to answer your question, why don't we have a gym? Because gyms are for ponces and ladymen. And besides, sports will kill you dead. Steve Reeves and Jimmy Jameson were two fast-living competitive boyos. They worked hard and they played hard.
I bet after a hard day's sporting, they'd smack each other on their bare arses till they were raw.
Anyway, the two of them were mad into adventure sports, oh yeah. They had whitewater rafted down the Rockies, base jumped in Kilimanjaro, hand glided over the Gobi Desert.
Rode themselves raw in a Manilan ladyman knocking shop.
Shut your filthy fly trap, you're agitating me grapes. The one thing that Steve and Jimmy hadn't done was rock climbing. So that was their next challenge as the two boys set off on their holiday to the legendary Mount Punani. They bought all the gear and were ready for action, but when they arrived, they were pissed off that they had to do a 3-day compulsory mountain climbing and safety course.
I couldn't imagine the two get-up-and-go boys sitting on their hairy holes for 3 days lecturing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Rodge. The cocky duo decided, screw that, and off they went to conquer the legendary peak, all in their own-io. Now, I ain't no Captain Scott, but discarding the map before they even get started was not a good idea. And starting to climb as a fog settled in is downright idiotic. But in fairness, the boys' fitness stood by them and they managed to do quite well, considering they'd no training whatsoever. But as all mountaineers know, it's not only physical strength you need for climbing, you need a strong mind as well.
Do you know, that's exactly the same when you're playing Hungry Hippos.
Right. They climbed for hours. Easy peasy, they thought to themselves. What's all the fuss about?
Right. What was the first thing that went wrong, Podge?
Well, Steve dropped the rucksack full of food.
Oh, shit!
Then what happened?
The next mistake almost proved fatal. Jimmy neglected to secure his safety rope, and he slipped 20 feet onto a ledge below.
Jimmy! Jimmy!
Unfortunately, he landed awkwardly, and his foot got jammed into a crevice. Steve climbed back down, but no matter what they tried, they couldn't release the leg. They camped on the ledge that night. It was bitterly cold, and the vegetation that they ate resulted in vicious stomach cramps, followed by horrendous diarrhea.
I wouldn't like to be climbing up behind them.
That was half the problem, Rodge, as no one was. Another day slowly passed, and no help appeared.
Steve, you gotta go on.
As desperation,
Find some
dehydration, and hypothermia
gonna
were
make
beginning
it.
to set in,
You gotta go on
Jimmy
alone.
knew what they had to do.
Right.
But Steve was having none of it.
I'm not gonna leave you here, man.
We're both getting out of here, he shouted as he hacked through Jimmy's leg with a blunt Swiss Army knife.
Oh, Len Brown has one of them with a shoehorn cum oyster opener on it. He's always flashing it down at the come in, the showy bastard.
I don't give a wonky bollocks what Len Brown has. There's people dying here.
Sorry.
After a good hour's hacking, Jimmy's leg came free. They cauterised the stump with a naked flame, then they ate the severed foot for strength.
Oh. You know, I always wondered, do corns taste of corn?
The valiant Steve began climbing and hauling his legless buddy behind him. Every time they reached what they thought might be the top, there was another ledge above. That night, after drinking their own piss, the two fell asleep, exhausted. The next morning, Jimmy refused to let
Not
Steve
take me any further.
take him any further.
No point in both of us dying.
He told his pal, "Eat me!"
Jesus. Maybe an old tug, but it's hardly time nor the place for a blowjob.
No, he wanted to sacrifice himself so his friend wouldn't starve to death.
Oh.
Steve refused, but he agreed to put Jimmy
help
out
you
of his
sleep.
misery, rather than to see him suffer anymore.
I'm hungry. Do you fancy a bit of bracken butter or anything like that?
As the blood of his best friend rolled down the rocks, Steve heard a familiar noise from above. It must be delirium, he thought, his mind playing tricks.
Huh?
But it didn't stop. With his last bit of strength, he pulled himself up to the next ledge, and right there in front of him was an ice cream van.
Oh, Jesus, the poor Egypt had gone mad, huh?
No, Rodge, it was a real ice cream van.
But how could they get an ice cream van on the top of Mount Punani?
They didn't. The poor feckin' Egypts, unbeknownst to themselves, were climbing on the wrong side of the local beauty spot, about half a mile away from the real Mount Punani. Jimmy's bloody corpse lay a mere stone's throw from the busy picnic area and children's playground.
Feckin' gobshites. You wouldn't catch me mountain climbing, oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we wouldn't catch you doing,
That's
Rodge.
right.
1, wiping your hole, 2, taking a bath, and 3, brushing your teeth.
The ladies like a rough diamond.
Jesus, a rough diamond maybe, but not one that's festering with 5 diseases currently unidentified by modern science.
It's 4 now.
Really?
That swelling on me sack turned out to be hard paw.
Hard paw? Wait a second, only dogs get hard paw.
Hey, I gotta get the love wherever it's going,
Oh.
sister.
Oh, Jesus.
They say red setters are highly strung, but she took her time, in fairness.
Oh, Mike. It gets worse here.
Hey, 'Cause 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 'c
Low-life scum.
Get off our land.
Where have you hidden the feckin' keys, huh?
No.
Where are they? I know they're here somewhere.
No.
Come on.
You are not getting the car
Where are the keys?
No.
I feckin' know they're here somewhere.
Forget
they're
about
up here,
it.
aren't they? They're up here. Come on, where are they, huh?
You are not getting the car.
Jesus. Right, look, I only need it for a while. Right?
You're not going jogging.
Wait a minute. You're a psychic bastard. How did you know I was going jogging, huh?
Well, the leash on your Mickey's a dead giveaway.
Oh, shite.
Besides, you need a dog to go dogging.
Yeah, well, I have one.
Oh, Sadie's going, huh?
Oh, ha. I borrowed Farmer Queelan's bitch.
Oh, that mean bastard would never lend you his dog. Wait a second. Wasn't Queelan murdered only the other day?
Well, how else was I going to get a feckin' dog, huh?
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, you're still not going dogging because you might end up dead.
Oh, Jesus, I was afraid you were going to say that. Jesus, I fear one of your feckin' tales coming on.
Randy Peak in Wales was a famous romantic spot with incredible views over the cliff of Llandig.
Welsh bastards.
Indeed. It had been very popular with couples going up there and making out, but had gotten quiet over the last 10 years. But now is enjoying a resurgence, what with the internet, dogging, and the new hedonistic society that was evolving. Bronwyn Shaftsworth and Griffin Longdong were office workmates turned illicit lovers. Shagging the arse off each other behind their spouses' backs. One evening after working late, Griffin suggested they drive up to Randy Peak. For the view, of course.
Yeah, her full moon in the full moon.
Yeah, shut up. Anyway, it wasn't long till they were hard at it. Fingers and tongues going everywhere. When all of a sudden the car jolted forward and rolled toward the cliff's edge. What? Bronwyn reached for the handbrake, but no matter how hard she tugged it, the car kept rolling.
Well, at least Griffin died happy anyway.
Oh my God! Over the cliff they went and met their deaths at the bottom of Randy Peak. The next morning the cops were on the scene. It looked like a tragic accident or even a lover's suicide. But when the same accident happened 3 more times, they could no longer rule out foul play. The only bit of evidence found were a set of handprints they dusted off the car boot.
Murder, she wrote.
Oh, there was no doubt of that. But when they ran the prints, there were no matches. The Welsh cops were puzzled, and not even Scotland Yard could come up with any answers. There was only one man for the job. Detective Spunk Murphy, Limerick CID. Your only man.
Yep.
You see, Murphy had been undercover breaking a dogging ring for a couple of years now.
Yeah, well, that's what he was telling the wife anyway, huh?
So he was highly qualified to take on the case. He decided to get straight down to the job with the help of WPC Swallows, whom he handpicked himself.
Dirty beggar.
They were staked out in a car on Randy Peak, hoping to catch the culprit red-handed. And like the others, the car received a jolt from behind and tumbled towards the cliff. But not before Murphy and his assistant were able to jump clear. But there was no one there.
No one there? What in shite is going on there, huh?
When forensics came back with the results the next day, the same untraceable fingerprints were the only clue. Murphy had an idea. He spent the day in the local library studying old newspapers, and then he rushed back to the precinct and got the bewildered cops to dig out the prints book from 1952. The fingerprints on the car matched those of William Williams.
Right. So they went round and arrested the fella.
How could they?
What?
They hung him in 1952 for the double murder of his wife and her lover. He had pushed them over Randy Peak in a fit of jealousy over 50 years ago. The case would never be closed as long as cheating couples visited Randy Peak. But Murphy made history as the first cop to bring 4 charges of murder against a dead man.
That Spunk Murphy is a legend, huh?
True enough.
Yeah. Whatever happened to your one WPC Swallows, huh?
Oh, she's working hard and helping Spunk Murphy crack down on the new Mullingar roasting circle.
Oh, wait, come here, Waxy O'Toole was telling me there's a fella who's causing quite a stir on the Ballydung dogging circuit. He does a fruit insertion show in a black Austin 50. That's a coincidence. Sure, we've got an Austin 50.
Right, I'm off. Good night.
Hey, where are you going?
Business mine out knows yours keep.
Huh? Bastard. Jesus. Oh, nice fresh fruit there. I think so. Nice plum. You feckin' plums taste funny. Jesus, that banana smells as shite. Oh, God. Oh, well, waste not, want not.
Stick it up your hole.
Gaylords.
Daddy's keepsakes, huh? Loads of photos. Look
What?
at us.
What?
Here's one, look.
No.
Us as kids, huh?
Yeah, no, not us, me.
Oh,
It's just me there. You know, Father despised you. You keep forgetting.
The crack we had in them days, didn't
Yeah.
we, huh? What was it that Father used to say to me now?
You're no son of mine, you bastard.
The good old days.
Well, some memories are best forgotten.
Huh?
But when you've been through what Iva Brownstein from Muffberg in Austria had been through, it's hard to forget. Iva had lived in Muffberg after escaping the Germans in 1944.
Yeah.
In 1984, she was delighted to be involved in the unveiling of a new memorial for those lost in the Second World War. As part of the ceremony, she presented the mayor with her beloved tapestry that she created during her 4-year incarceration in a German prison camp.
Harsh days indeed, huh?
What the hell would you know about it? Huh? Whilst me and Daddy were out in the trenches, you were at home pissing your pants.
Excuse me? You were only 4 yourself during the war?
I was advanced for me years, always have been.
Bah.
Iva was delighted when the mayor gave her tapestry pride of place in the town hall. The memories of the camp still haunted her to that day. The friends she had lost and the brutality of her Nazi captors.
On your list! Shoot her.
But one thing that kept her sane was working on her tapestry.
Oh, Jesus, if there's one thing I hate, it's arts and feckin' crafts. Especially those bastard string pictures where you wind the string around their nails to make something like a feckin' boat or a sunset or some
One
shite
thing
like...
to say to you. One more interruption. Your face, my deep fat fryer.
Jeez, I was only saying...
You were only saying shite, you thick on. Now listen up, you might learn something. As Iva gazed up at the tapestry, she remembered the day that she organised the breakout. It took months of careful planning, but she managed to save a number of lives, all thanks to her handiwork. A couple of months later, an old woman was driving through Muffburg when her car broke down outside the town hall. She wandered in looking for some assistance, but she nearly keeled over with shock at what she saw in front of her.
Town Hall Cafe menu. Ham and cheese panini, €5.60. The thieving bastards, huh?
No, you gobsheen. It was the tapestry. She recognised the tapestry.
Oh, why didn't you say tapestry?
She explained that the last time she had seen it was the night she and her pals had escaped from their Nazi prison camp in 1944. Yeah. She wondered how it came to be hanging here in Muffburg, and was delighted to hear that Mrs. Iva Brownstein herself had recently presented it to the town. A clerk looked up the registry and found Iva's home address and handed it to the emotional old one, who said she never thought in a million years she would see her old friend again.
Right, is this going anywhere? Because if I wanted to hear maudlin shite like this, I would read Marion Keyes.
Later that evening, Iva heard a knock on the door.
Huh?
It was a bit late for callers, but she answered anyway. As she opened the door, she couldn't believe her eyes, as Iva looked upon a face that she hadn't seen for 40 years. And despite the years that had passed, it was a face that would remain etched on her mind forever.
Can you not just hug and get it over with?
Iva wasn't quite prepared for the cold steel blade that was plunged straight through her heart.
Jesus, what in the name of Ryan Tuberty's bulbous eyes is going on? Why would her friend stab her in the heart?
She wasn't her friend at all. There before Iva stood Commandant Bitch Slap, the tyrannical governor of the prison camp. Well, inmate 7625. I told you there was no escape.
Oh, biatch. Talk to the blade because the face ain't listening. Yeah.
Oh, would you look what I'm after finding?
What? Father's medal from the war.
Oh, something to be proud of.
Oh, look at this.
What?
Would you look? Oh. There you are. That's what we're after.
Mine papa, with his old work colleagues.
God, he was a devil for the war crimes.
That he was.
Devil.
That he was.
Das Funkeln zu sprühen beginnen, Judas erscheint, das Reich zu gewinnen. Läutet das Blut, die Seile sich röten, rings lauter brennen und martern und töten.
Feckless gobsheens! Direct this, lady man.
About that local fella that had the sex change.
Oh, here we go again.
Huh?
Feckin' mouth almighty, huh? Spreading more lies and gossip to anyone thick enough to listen. Sticking your big, sweaty nose into other people's business.
I was only saying...
I was only saying, well, say nothing until you get the facts. 'Cause things aren't always as they seem, Billy Piper.
Huh?
Larry Mingus and his wife, Chloe, were looking for their first house. And with the prices these days, they couldn't afford to be too choosy.
I'm waiting for the bubble to burst.
I'll burst both your bubbles for you if you interrupt me again.
Blah.
Anyway, they were gazumped, outbid and shafted by unscrupulous estate agents. It looked like they were never going to find a home of their own. Then, by total chance, they stumbled across an old cottage that had just come up for grabs. It was quaint, a bit of a doer-upper, but had great potential.
For quaint, read shithole.
Yeah. So Death Cottage was theirs.
Death Cottage?
Now, after paying over the odds for the old pile, they hadn't much cash to play around with. So they had to cut corners with the contents. They bought all their furnishings and bits and bobs from the cheap shite co-op.
Oh, do you know, there's one of them opening up in Langer's Leap. Oh, the prices are hardly normal.
Right. After their first night in the house, Chloe was a bit shaken.
Huh?
She didn't want to alarm Larry, but she was sure she heard noises during the night. Faint scraping. And she could have sworn that something brushed off her cheek while she tried to sleep. When she turned the light on, there was no one there. She was convinced that their new house was haunted.
You see, with an old property, you're not just buying the bricks and mortar. Oh, no, you're buying its history, too.
Have you been watching Grand Designs again, you feckin' poncy lady man? Bah. The trouble was, Chloe didn't want to worry Larry, who was totally delighted with their new home. She did a bit of research on her own and discovered that the previous owner had died in her bed.
Jesus, so that's why they got the house so easily. It was haunted.
That's what she suspected, and it was confirmed when she came home after work that day and made a spooky discovery.
Huh?
Despite the alarm being on, all the windows closed and the doors locked, she discovered their bedclothes strewn around the room.
Jesus. Oh, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters! Ding-a-ling-ding-ding-ding-ding. Ding-ding-ding-ding.
But instead of telling Larry, she just made the bed up and said nothing. But every day, without fail, the bedclothes would end up all over the place. And after a month of sleepless nights, she gave in and told Larry that she believed the previous owner's ghost was haunting their bedroom. Larry was sceptical, but when he saw the scattered bedclothes for himself, he agreed to call Chloe's friend, Father Flange.
Oh, the bingo caller.
No, the exorcist. Father Flange did all the voodoo shite to purge the house of any unwanted undead. You know, blessing the room from top to bottom, holy water on the carpet, crucifixes in the cupboards.
Dildos on the doorknobs.
Yeah, it certainly put Chloe's mind at rest. But the next day, same as always, she found herself back at square one.
Yep. The shitting bedclothes were tossed around the room again, huh?
Yep, and Chloe was at her wit's end, but instead of making the bed up, she dragged the bedclothes outside, chucked them in the bin. When Larry arrived home, he discovered the bin on its side, the pillows at either end of the garden, and the duvet up against the back door.
Yes, that's one determined poltergeist.
Ah, well, you see, Larry came to a whole other conclusion.
What? Oh, I know. That Jerry Ryan should never, ever, under any circumstances, be allowed on television.
No, you shite-hawk.
Huh?
Although, you do have a point. Upon further investigation, Larry managed to solve the mystery. It wasn't a ghost at all moving stuff around the room. It was something infinitely more scary.
What?
Oh. Maggots.
Maggots? What you talking about, Willis?
The duvet and pillows were infested with them.
Oh, Jesus.
You see, they bought them at that bargain place, and since they were manufactured on the cheap, the maggots had grown on the little bits of flesh left on the stalks of the feathers in the duvet and pillows that hadn't been properly sterilised. It wasn't a ghost moving the bedclothes. It was the wriggling and multiplying of the maggots, sealed in the cloth, pulling and tugging to get out, that was moving them around the room.
For the love of St. J-Lo's big hairy arse. That is disgusting.
Yep, but Chloe and Larry, after puking their rings up a few times, were certainly relieved that their new home wasn't, after all, a haven for the undead.
Right enough.
So you see, 2 lessons to be learnt.
All right.
Don't buy cheap shite,
right.
And things aren't always as they seem. So before you go spreading scurrilous rumours around the town that someone's had a sex change, get your facts straight.
Right. Fair enough.
Good.
I'll say no more about it.
Yeah, you do that.
Podge, will you pass us that cream there?
God, you're a bit old for moisturiser, Rodge.
Yeah, but I've an awful rash on me fanny. Well, you know what they say, a change is as good as a rest, huh?
Where's your... Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, do you want to have a go in it?
Oh!
It's nearly healed. What? Suit yourself.
Boy!
Oh, Jesus. Do we have any yogurt in the fridge, do we?
Oh!
Jesus. You just hold me coat open there. I need to get it. Oh, that's nice.
Shitehawks, the lot of them. Arseholes, one and all.
Oh, God almighty. That's fucking rotten. It's just like spunk, that is. Oh, did I tell you? I had a great laugh today, huh? Me and Flem O'Toole screwed a swivel wheel to the bottom of Jimmy Dorgan's wooden leg.
Was he swiveling all over the place, was he?
He was. But sure, once the train cut him in half, sure, the crack was over.
Well, having a laugh at someone else's expense is all very well, until it happens to you. Japs I. Hanley worked in Finglas Frozen Storage with his 2 best mates, Bulb Crosby and Muppet Murphy.
Finglas Frozen Storage, huh? Now, what does that company do, huh?
Well, if I hazard a guess, Rodge, now don't quote me on this, but I believe that Finglas Frozen Storage store frozen feckin' stuff.
Jesus. Yeah, the things you know, huh?
Yeah, and here's another thing I know. If you don't shut your hairy hole, I'll put your head in the oven again.
Right.
Japsai, Bulb and Muppet were a right bunch. And Japsai was known as the king of the pranksters. Pissing in the tea, imac in the hair gel, and fake severed limbs. He'd be forever catching his mates out, and if they ever got brassed off with him, he'd just laugh it off and buy them a pint.
Sounds like a great fella, except for pissing in the tea. I mean, who in their right mind would find that funny, huh? Jesus.
Oh, it's been funny for the last 15 years, Rodge.
Huh?
Nothing. Do you want a cuppa, huh? Huh? Could I tempt you?
Maybe after.
Good, because it gives me time to fill up.
Huh?
Anyway, Bulb and Muppet, despite trying, never managed to get one over on their shrewd pal. That was until one evening they went for pints after work, but were kicked out long before closing. But this time, Bulb suggested they go back to the factory. You see, a pallet of cider had arrived in that morning, and sure, they'd hardly miss a couple of bottles.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
So off the three drunken pals went and snuck into the warehouse. After a couple of bottles, Bulb and Muppet started having a drunken argument over whose tenner it was that had dropped on the ground. But when it started to turn nasty, Jap's Eye tried to intervene. But the boys were having none of it. And they pushed him roughly into one of the freezers so that they could sort out the dispute once and for all. Jap's Eye looked out the freezer door and saw that the fight was turning vicious. As blood streamed from Muppet's severed skull, Jap's Eye pounded on the freezer door to let him out. Bulb shook his head and told him he couldn't let him out, as he was a witness to murder. Jap's Eye couldn't believe it as Bulb dragged the corpse away.
Jesus, what brand of cider was that, huh?
As Jap's Eye sat alone in the giant freezer, his two mates sat around the corner, breaking their shites laughing.
Wait a minute. I thought your man had his skull cracked open.
It was all an elaborate get-back at their practical joking mate.
Oh.
Bulb and Muppet couldn't believe that Jap's Eye had at last fallen for one of their jokes. So instead of letting him out, they decided to let him stew until the morning.
But would he not freeze in there, huh?
Oh, not at all. The boys turned the freezer off and went home. The next morning, Bulb and Muppet arrived into work as usual.
Your man's going to be in a fowler when the boys let him out, huh?
He would have been if he wasn't dead.
What?
Yep, dead as a feckin' dead thing. He had died of hypothermia.
Jesus, how could he freeze to death if the feckin' freezer wasn't on?
Well, the state pathologist explained that Jap's Eye had literally killed himself by the power of worry. You see, despite the freezer not dropping below room temperature, Jap's Eye's mind told him different. He'd frozen himself to death through the power of his own mind.
Jesus, talk about a prank going right up its own hole.
The mind is a powerful thing, Rodge.
So if I believe in me mind like that Anne Doyle is standing stark raving naked in our bedroom, does that mean she'll be there?
Anne Doyle naked? That reminds me, I must buy a new chamois leather tomorrow.
Huh?
Nothing. Anyway, do you want a cup of tea now?
I don't mind if I do.
Right, I'll just go to the Jacks and fill the kettle.
Grand, so... Sure. Podge!
What?
I've changed me mind. Will you make us a hot chocolate if that's okay?
No problemo, you're the customer.
Would you stick a flake in it for me?
I'll try, but I may not be able to.
Right.
Do you want cream with that?
Sure, go on, spoil me.
Now, where's that magazine?
Maybe not. This cream's always a bit salty.
Too late.
Who are all these losers? Losers. Loser. I'm waiting for that director, Ponce.
Podge!
What?
I'm thinking of doing an adult educational course.
Yeah, you do realise that they're not courses of an adult nature. They're simply for adults.
Shite. I was hoping to get a degree in dogging.
So you've already a master's in baiting.
Oh, ha.
Anyway, too much education and you might end up dead.
Huh?
This is the only education you'll need right here. Niamh Indaballs, or Nee to her friends, had started a 5-year psychology course in FUK, a friendly University Kilkenny.
Knee in the balls,
Yeah,
huh?
shut up. Anyway, she and 3 others were sharing student accommodation. They were all first years, enthusiastic, and looking forward to college life and all that it entails. The learning.
The boozing.
The mingling of minds.
The riding yourself raw with the entertainment officer.
The social interaction.
The hashish.
Expanding your mind and filling it with learning.
The experimentation with homosexuality.
Anyway, they had their whole lives ahead of them. Or so they thought.
Tell us more, Marion.
All 4 of the young students got on great. Clodagh, the medical student, who had a quick wit and a saucy personality. Gillian, the history major, the type that would do anything for you. Jamie, the computer head, with a bust to match her brains. And Niamh, the quiet one, studying psychology.
Yeah. Right, one question. Which one plays the guitar? There's always one bastard that fecks up a perfectly good student party by getting out their poxy feckin' guitar and singing feckin' David fucking Gray, huh?
Oh! As I was saying,
You broke me fucking face.
for the 10th night running, Niamh was burning the midnight oil, studying for an important first-term paper. She was exhausted and stressed out, but kept pushing herself. Suddenly, she was disturbed by her mobile phone, which beeped furiously.
Huh?
She opened the text message. It read, "You skipped page 54. Signed, Alan."
Alan? Alan? Who the feck is Alan?
No, she hadn't a clue. She didn't know any Alan. It really creeped her out, though, as she had skipped page 54.
Oh, Jesus.
A shiver ran down her spine as she got the feeling she was being watched. She got up and pulled the curtains over. Then she checked upstairs to see if one of her flatmates was winding her up. But they were all fast asleep.
Jesus.
She returned uneasily to her studies and nearly jumped out of her skin as another text appeared.
Jesus, what did it say?
"I'm going to kill your friends, and you're going to get the blame," it read. Once again signed by the mysterious Alan.
Whoa, that's some hardcore shit there, Daddy-O.
Yeah, thank you, 20 cent. Niamh was now getting extremely anxious, but she kept telling herself it's just a hoax. But she decided to double-check all the locks on the doors and windows, just in case. As she checked the window in the bathroom, she caught a glimpse of a man staring back at her through the glass.
Was it Radio 1 disc jockey Ronan Collins, huh?
She stumbled out of the bathroom as she received a third text.
What?
"They're already dead, and it's your fault." She scrambled to her feet and swung open the bedroom door, and to her horror, a bloodfest awaited her.
Shit on a stick, huh?
When the guards arrived, they quizzed the now hysterical Niamh and asked her to run through what had happened. She told them about the texts, took them upstairs to the still darkened bathroom, and pointed at the window where she had seen the murderer, face to face. But she got some shock when the detective told her that it wasn't a window at all.
Yeah?
It was the bathroom mirror. In fact, there was no window in the bathroom.
What in the name of St. Joey of Tribbiani is going on there, Mr. P?
The stresses of all the studying had triggered a latent psychosis from within the dark depths of Niamh's mind.
Huh?
A dual personality had surfaced that just happened to be that of a psychotic murderer.
Jesus.
Niamh and Alan were one and the same.
Oh, Jesus, huh? But what about the text messages?
Oh, the detective soon discovered that Niamh Allen had simply been texting themselves.
Themself, huh? Themself, very good. Come here. Does that mean that when I put my Mickey through people's letterboxes that That could be my dual personality doing it, not me at all.
No, that'd be you. Your dirty, feckin', ignorant, pervy pup self.
All right. It's just I thought it might work in my defence case, you know. Hey, wait a second. You said these courses weren't of an adult nature at all.
They're not.
But listen to this. There's a course in astronomy. Here's one for oral French.
Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah.
And taxidermy. Oh, yeah.
Now, the other two I understand. Astronomy, oral French. You made them sound dirty. But how in the hell are you getting a horn over taxidermy?
'Cause it's all about stuffing and filling and plucking. Oh.
Tie a knot in your libido, you randy knob goblin.
Come here. Do you think I could get a master's in baiting, huh?
Jesus. I tell you what, I'll give you an A for asshole. I'll give you a B for bollocks, and I'll give you a C for shitehawk.
Ha! There isn't a C in shitehawk.
Oh, God, well done there, Rodge. Get your copybook out and I'll give you a brown star. You go and die, will you? I'll give you an A in dying, huh?
These bunch of shites produced tonight's shite show. Careful, Rodge.
Oh, I've got a name wedged up my arsehole.
Oh, bollocks.
Where the hell have you been all day? My verrucas won't cauterise themselves, you know.
Me and Sadie were out flat hunting.
Oh, you're going to move out? Well, not before time. 65 years of absolute torture and oppression. The Saddam Hussein of the Midlands you are.
Yeah, and I'll miss you too. Listen there. Sadie said I should sell my half of the house to you.
Oh, she said that, did she?
Yeah.
God, that's a great idea. Oh, God, you're on to a good one there.
Yeah.
A smart woman.
Yeah, so what do you think, huh?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think you're a plank. Moving into a flat with that hoe bitch. Now listen to this tale before you pack your bags, Larry Hagman. Sarah Spreadham was flat hunting, and she found a suitable place within walking distance of work, and the rent wasn't half bad at all. The landlord, Mr. Van Halen, showed her the place. 1 bedroom, a kitchen and bathroom. Sure, what more would a single girl need?
Oh, ding, 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 ding. Congratulations. I think you've broken the record. I'm bored already. God, there's porno videos that need to be wiped down before I bring them back to the shop, you know.
Shut both your holes and listen, or I'll bore you all right. I'll bore through your skull with me Black & Decker. Bastard. Sarah moved in and she was well settled before the stain appeared.
Huh? Was her back door not locking properly, huh?
No, the stain was on the carpet. She was pretty sure it wasn't there when she'd moved in, and she couldn't remember spilling anything. Anyway, Sarah scrubbed it away and thought no more about it. When she got home that evening, the stain was back in exactly the same spot.
Rusty pipe or leaks coming from the ceiling or something?
No, she checked for that and cleaned it once again. This time she was sure it wouldn't come back.
You know, there's an old saying. What is it now? Huh? Oh, yeah. You do the shake and vac, you put the freshness back. You do the shake and vac, you put the freshness back. You do the... Oh!
Huh?
Jay!
Huh? You like that, huh? Yeah, no matter what detergents, bleaches and sheer elbow grease she used, the stain kept returning to the exact same spot. Only a week in her new pad and Sarah was at her wit's end. Eventually, Sarah called the landlord. When he arrived, she explained about the recurring stain on the carpet. But when she brought him into the living room, Sarah was astonished to find that the stain was gone.
Huh?
It had been there only moments before. She was thoroughly embarrassed and apologised for wasting Mr. Van Halen's time. He was very understanding and told her to call him if she had any other problems. Unless they were imaginary ones, of course. No sooner had Sarah let the landlord out than the stain reappeared.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, Sarah hadn't a clue, but she was determined to find out once and for all. She moved away all the furniture, pulled back the carpet, and started reefing up the floorboards.
Jesus, she can wave goodbye to her deposit, so...
She didn't care. She was obsessed with getting to the bottom of the mysterious stain. As she pulled back the appropriate floorboards, she found a bin liner wrapped in tape.
Oh, shite.
She tentatively tore it open to find a bag of body parts, and staring up at her was the dead eyes of a young girl, the previous tenant, trying to let her know what her fate would be if she didn't get out. Sarah was so terrified. She swung around, and right before her stood the landlord with a knife in his hand and pure evil in his eyes. 2 weeks later, June Summers was settling into her new flat when she noticed something. 2 mysterious stains had suddenly appeared on the living room carpet.
Oh, get out of the house! Get out of the house! Did you see what I was doing
Yeah,
there?
that's not very good at all. Anyway, listen, about what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, about you buying my half of the house so I can get a flat with Sadie. Yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it. In all honesty, I couldn't afford to buy your half of the house. It'd cripple me financially, and, well, we're not getting any younger. But don't let me hold you back from your dreams, Rodge.
Yeah.
I know what I can do for you that'll set you and Sadie on your way.
Huh?
I'll give you a deposit for that flat.
What? Oh, Jesus, Podge. Sure, that'd be great. That's all we've been needing, you know.
Well, hey, hang on a second. I'll get it for you now.
Jesus, great. Jesus.
There's your feckin' deposit. Sorry it's in only one large denomination. A lump sum, so to speak. Now you tell that bitch there's plenty more where that came from.
I prefer fiancé if you don't mind.
Bitch.
Oh, God. Fiancé.
Bitch.
Fiancé.
Bitch.
Fiancé.
Bitch.
Fiancé.
Bitch.
Fiancé.
She's a bitch.
Fiancé.
Oh, wait a second. She's a bitch.
Fiancé.
She's a bitch.
Fiancé.
Bitch.
Fiancé.
Bitch. Fiancé! Get out of me way, fanny head! Hear me shot!
Holiday in Guantanamo. Holiday in Guantanamo.
Hey. Oh, hello there now. You're listening to Ballydung Radio. That was Larry Lang and the Lady Men 5 with Holiday in Guantanamo. And now over for local festive roundup with DJ Rodge in the newsroom.
Ballydung Radio!
Hey, thanks, Mixmaster Podge. The Christmas panda has arrived safely all the way from China. The local children have been spending the day feeding Lolo, bamboo shoots and sugar cubes.
No.
She will be leading the parade down the main street to the opening of the crib, where she will be ritually slaughtered by guess who?
Who?
Santa himself.
Ho, 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 Rodge. I can taste that panda All ready.
Ho, 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 Podge. I've ordered a hind leg already.
Good man.
Local announcements now. Billy Mint of 17 New Crescent. You won't be getting any presents this year, as both your parents are alcoholics. And they've spent all their dole money on booze.
Happy holidays, Billy. But now, keeping up with the festive flavour, the Festrinator fellas are back again with a triumphant return to the charts after Aylin's successful battle with bulimia. From their new album, We've All Been in the Altar, Boys, it's Triple X Christmas.
I'll lead you under the mistletoe if you blow me under the tree. You can smack me bare arse with holly as I stuff you like the turkey. Look at me, I'm old Saint Nick, dressed in red and randy. Stick a cracker up your hole and cover yourself in brandy. Christmas is a time for gifts and this year's no exception. Butt plugs, poppers and dildos, things to help with your erection. Let's have a triple X Christmas, a naughty Yuletide cheer. Some sadomasochistic fun that'll last till the new year. I'll dress up like a turkey, ready for the plucking. You can pull my feathers when I'm naked, we'll start.
Everybody loves Christmas, but I love to love at Christmas. A time for giving and giving again. And giving a bit harder, then giving from behind.
Hey, look, there's Santa's dirty little helpers. Come Flasher, come Pole Dancer, come Prancer, come Vixen, come it, come Cupid, come Honor, and Vixen, and of course, Rudy herself. Get down on it.
So remember, folks, no matter how hard up you are this Christmas, don't worry, you can always have a hard-on for free.
Let's have a triple X Christmas, a naughty Yuletide cheer.
Some sadomasochistic fun that'll last till the new year.
Let me be your Santa girl, you can grab hold of me sack.
I'll be coming up your chimney,
having me Christmas crack. Let's have a triple X Christmas, a naughty Yuletide cheer.
Some sadomasochistic fun that'll last till the new year.
I dress up like a turkey, ready for the plucking. You can pull my feathers when I'm naked, we'll start
All we were going to say was fooling around, not f***ing.
Oh, God, that's great now, huh? Ballydung's answer to the cheeky girls. Festrinator back in true form.
That's right.
And I'm sure that that song will be climbing up the charts like a hamster up Richard Gere.
Oh, and don't forget the boys themselves will be making a live appearance on BDR's very own Malachi Quinn's fucking ballad show.
What was that?
Malachi Quinn's fucking ballad show.
For the hard-of-hearing listeners, that was the Folk and Ballad Show.
That's what I said.
No phone calls, please. But now over to Rodge in the newsroom for a BDR announcement.
Thank you, Podge. All locals are cordially invited to go down and see Ballydung homosexual Pascal Flannery, who has firmly lodged himself on top of the Christmas tree in the town square for the next 3 weeks. And no point in setting fire to the tree this year, folks. As we all know, sure he'll burn in hell anyway.
Indeed, Rodge. And we just have time for the final weather.
It's mild.
Right, so happy holidays from all here at BDR. And what better way to celebrate than with Randy Culshaw and My Daddy Was Hung on Christmas Eve.
All our family were home that Christmas. It was going to be the best Christmas ever. I went out to find Daddy to put more logs on the fire. It was mighty cold. Wait a minute, that's a rather large Christmas decoration hanging from the tree. Oh, sweet. Oh, Jesus.
'Cause my daddy was hung on Christmas.
I just farted. Oh, Jesus.
'Cause my daddy was hung on Christmas. He left me without leaving a present. 'Cause my daddy was
Will you blow?
Huh?
Huh?
Oh, right.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus. Come here. Do you know, funerals are shocking expensive, so I hear.
Right, yeah, but you don't have to worry about yours. I have it all sorted.
Jesus, that's very good of you. Now, I don't want to coaching horses and children crying after me and all that. Oh, no. And the wake should last no more than 5 days.
No, Rodge. I've left your body to Farmer Queelan's pigs.
What?
Well, you've been shag all used to me while you're alive. At least I might make some money off you for pig feed. And the Queelans could get a side of bacon out of you.
Well, wouldn't be the first time Mrs. Queelan's eaten me.
Rodge, you're a notorious shite-hawk.
True.
Oh, which reminds me of 2 other shite-hawks.
Huh?
The most notorious shite-hawks of all.
Oh.
Back in 1784, Boyle and McSorley were known on the streets of Dublin as petty crooks and scavengers of the worst order. Lifting and stealing, pickpocketing and vice was their trade. Leeches on society they were.
Oh, a bit like Jade Goody and Parma Tara Tompkinson. Nobody wants them, but they just won't go away.
Right. Anyway, they were always on the lookout for easy money. And when the College of Surgeons opened on Stephen's Green, an opportunity for some quick cash came to light. You see, the trouble with colleges back in those days was a lack of cadavers to experiment on. For notorious bollocks as Boyle and McSorley, digging up freshly buried corpses was no big deal. They simply hung around the graveyards, offering fake condolences. And that same night, they would dig up the dead and discreetly exchange the bodies for a handsome fee. No questions asked.
I've got a question.
Go on.
Is this shagging story going anywhere? So I got to take a Brillo pad to me teeth. There's a layer of plaque a month thick on me dentures.
Stay where you are before I cauterise your lad on the range.
Jesus.
As the College of Surgeons grew, so did the demand for corpses of all manner shapes and sizes. Boyle and McSorley were making tidy profits from grave robbing. The trouble was, they weren't the only ones. Other festering scabs from all over the country got in on the act. So much so that armed guards were eventually stationed at the graveyards.
Shit. Oh, the jig was up.
Not quite, Rodge.
Oh, tell us more.
Well, the 2 scoundrels knew that the college would still need bodies, and now that the well of corpses had run dry, they would pay over the odds for any deliveries. And that's when their tale takes a more sinister twist.
Murder, she wrote.
Got it in one, Angela Langersbury. But as you well know, murder is a risky business.
Oh, yes.
You've got to be very careful covering your tracks. But Boyle and McSorley were expert con men. They began hanging around Dublin's seedier inns, looking for single people a little worse for the wear. Once they spotted their prey, they swooped in like vultures.
Oh, sorry, I do apologise most sincerely. Let me help.
I'm fine.
I insist you join us for a small drop.
No, there's really no need.
They would spike the drink with hemlock and pretend to help the unsuspecting drunkard home.
Did they slice their gizzards down a darkened alley?
No. Any signs of murder in the jig would have been up. They tied the now unconscious fool by the legs and simply doused him in the Liffey. The poor unfortunate drowned without a struggle. Then they hung him out to dry, getting rid of not only the water in his lungs, but all fluid, including any traces of hemlock. Then they dirtied the corpses up a bit, put them in a shroud, and if anyone asked, they'd managed to sneak in the back gate of the graveyard to dig up a fresh one.
Oh, I tell you, I gotta hand it to those hooers, Melts. They had a bit of an entrepreneurial streak to them.
That's right. They lost count of the amount of poor Egypts they'd knocked off. But it was the night of February 24th, 1789, that their luck was about to run out.
Yeah, Big Brother came on, and the whole nation was hooked, and nobody went out for a month.
Rodge, it was 1789.
Yeah.
Yeah, good man. Anyway, down the quays they spotted a young fella sculling back the ale. The perfect target. Everything went as per usual. They'd gotten their system down to an impressive 2 hours. They arrived at the back door of the college with the corpse, and they were let in by the eminent surgeon, Professor Columbus Coldcase. When he saw the young man's corpse, he asked the two where they had procured the body from.
Where did you get him?
It happened Monday, apparently. Tragic, of course, so young and all.
They lied.
About the money.
Porters! Porters!
Boyle and McSorley were in for quite a surprise.
Well, that really is extraordinary. Seeing as I dined with my son only this afternoon. Take them away.
Bollocks.
The burly night porters grabbed Boyle and McSorley, and they were done for murder.
Jesus.
The judge, being a very good friend of the professors, allowed him to decide their fate. And Ireland was the first country to host a live autopsy.
Oh, Jesus. Slit from gizzard to gullet with not a sniff of an anaesthetic. What a way to go. Podge. You know the way you said you're going to sell me dead corpse to the Queelans for pig food?
Yeah?
Well, what if instead I gave me body to science? Well, after making nothing with me life, at least I could do some good when I'm gone, you know.
Yeah, good. It's a noble thought, Rodge, a noble thought indeed. Except for one tiny problem. Nobody'd want your filthy, pock-marked, scabies-ridden, bulbous, bloated, sweaty, leather-skinned, pus-filled, stinky, rancid, putrid, vile corpse to even piss on.
Pig food it is, so.
Good, that's settled then. You do know that that's the most annoying noise in the world.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ. No, wait, I was wrong.
Get me up there, Paul. Oh, jeez, I have to go. Is it emptied in?
Oh, God, I'm stuffed altogether.
I'm not complaining or nothing, but that dinner was a bit shite. What was it anyway?
Well, I had steak and chips. Huh? You had dog food and chips.
Yeah, that's hardly fair. Steak?
Don't blame me. 30-ounce steaks aren't as big as they used to be.
Wait a second. 30 ounces is 30 ounces.
Try telling that to the euro exchange rate.
You're a mad lad, Podge.
What?
I said you're mad.
Mad, is it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about mad.
Huh?
Dr. Pay started his first day in his new job as psychiatric evaluator for the Dunraven Home for the Mad. Helping the mad get, less mad was his vocation. First on the agenda was one-on-one sessions with the patients to get the cut of them. He met a man who thought he was a potted plant, a woman who was scared of carpet.
You're joking.
And a fella who thought he was a whisk.
Aren't mad people great crack?
Yeah. Anyway, most of the patients were long-term loopers, and there was little could be done for them. But when he met Mrs. Imelda Mounthaven, he was taken aback by her calm and collected demeanour. She really didn't seem to show any signs of mental illness, no obvious psychosis, no random behaviour. In fact, she, well, for want of a better word, seemed perfectly normal.
Well, why the hell was she in a nut farm with all the loonies and feckin' fruitcakes?
Yes, thank you, Mother Teresa. But that's what Dr. Pay wanted to find out. He dug out all her paperwork, which had her diagnosed as clinically insane, but the doctor knew that the woman he met, and was now falling in love with, was far from insane. He was determined to get to the bottom of this case.
Yeah. So he wanted to mount Imelda Mounthaven's haven, huh?
One more of those and I'll chop your remaining toes off.
Bah.
Dr. Pay arranged for a number of sessions with Mrs. Mounthaven, and the reluctant, elegant woman began to give up her incredible story. She told Dr. Pay that 8 years ago her husband, the marmalade millionaire, had orchestrated an elaborate plan to have his wife certified insane.
8 years ago, he wanted a divorce.
Why? Well, she explained he'd wanted a divorce to shack up with some young filly, and the tight bastard knew that he would be cleaned out in a divorce settlement. So he rigged it that she was thrown into the loony bin.
The shrewd hooer. It was a fit-up.
Yeah, as long as she was in the mental home certified insane, she couldn't claim a penny.
See, 8 years ago he wanted
Dr. Pay was amazed as the totally composed Mrs. Mounthaven explained the extent to which her husband had paid off people to cover his tracks, including the director of Dunraven. But incredibly, she told Dr. Pay that she didn't give a damn about the money. She just wanted freedom.
I just want me freedom.
Okay, Amanda. Okay.
What a lady, huh?
That's what Dr. Pay thought as he fell more in love with this admirable and vital woman. He promised Imelda that he was going to get her out of this godforsaken place. A tear rolled down Imelda's cheek as they embraced. The feeling of love was now becoming mutual.
Jesus, a little too heavy on the romance there, Podge. You ain't blowing my horn here.
Ah, shut your hole, Dizzy Gillespie. This ain't for your pervy entertainment, pal. This is for your life.
I hate to break it to you, Podge, but you know the way you've told me about 130 tales over the last 8 years and you keep saying, listen to this, you might learn something. Well, you know what? I've learned nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me come back to you on that point you raised there, Rodge. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Pay knew that he had his work cut out for him. With the Dunraven top brass in on the scam with Mr. Mounthaven, it meant that the rot went right to the top. He soon realised that there was only one option. He would have to break her out. When he told her that he was willing to throw away his career to help her, he was delighted that Imelda wanted to share her new life with him.
You one must be mad, and he must be madder. Huh? So why didn't you just get a quick reach around off her?
Shut your uncultured crevice. What the hell would you know about affairs of the heart, you bulbous-headed black sheep? After a textbook breakout, the two were on their way for a new life together. Except Imelda had one last request before they fled the country.
Yeah, what is it, sugar?
Well, what I wanted to ask
She
you
wanted
was,
to see the look on her old hubby's face when he saw that she was now a free woman. It was a risky thing to do, but deep down he understood.
Okay, sugar. Anything for you.
Thank you, honey.
They pulled up outside Marmalade Manor, and Dr. Pay rang the doorbell. There's someone who wants to see you. Someone you thought you'd never see again. You heartless bastard.
Jesus! She murdered my wife!
Huh? She feckin' what? The woman that Dr. Pay had freed was none other than Noreen Snide, a devious and utterly insane manipulator who had shared a room with the real Mrs. Mounthaven for just enough time to get a full profile on her before bumping her off in the middle of the night. The compulsive murderer Snide had concocted the elaborate but convincing tale of divorce and injustice in a bid for freedom and a whole new killing spree. Unfortunately, Dr. Pay made that fatal mistake of diagnosing with his cock rather than his head.
Oh, Jesus, the shagging aegis, helping some mad one on her way for more carnage.
So, did you like that one then?
Oh, it was a good one, right enough, yeah. But I still didn't learn any lessons, Podge.
Right, so what you're saying is, let me get this. You never learnt nothing from any of my odd 130 tales?
No.
Right, well, time for a bit of quick revision, so. That's for episode 1, series 1.
Jesus. Oh, God. What'd you do that
Episode 2, series 1. Episode 3, series 1.
Come on! There's 130 odd episodes. Will you have some mercy? Jesus!
Now you've made me lose count. I'll have to start over again.
No!
Episode 1, series 1. Episode 2, series 1. Episode 3, series 1.
Are they looking at our Mickeys? Oh, that's turning me. Oh, no.
Excuse me.
Hey, Podge.
What?
I was thinking of going on a diet. You know, maybe I'd attract more female attention.
Your problem isn't your weight, Rodge.
Huh?
Oh, no. It's the fact that you try and date girls with a pulse. You see, you're aiming too high. You're a repulsive, repugnant nugget of shite.
Well, it's worth a try.
I don't think there is a diet for people with disproportionate heads. And I can't say I've heard of the pug nose diet or the bulging eye program. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Dr. Atkins has invented the shrink your pile-ridden arse in 30 days plan. Besides, diets are a dangerous business.
Huh?
Eat a burger was a fat cow.
Hold on now, Podge. You can't be saying that nowadays. You've got to be more PC.
Huh?
She was a big-boned cow.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's what she called herself. She'd given up all hope of ever losing weight. Her self-esteem was at 0, and she'd never fit into that size 8 dress. She tried the Atkins, the Weight Watchers, the Slim Fast, the Pilates, but she couldn't stick to anything. And for every pound she lost, she'd put 2 back on. Then one evening, she was surfing the net.
Oh, was she looking for Randy Rancheros in their chaps.com? Or langermania.co.uk? Or perhaps hotcock.org?
I'll www.chopyourbollocksoff.com/ if you don't shut your hairy hole, Bill Mastergates. As I was saying, she was on the computer when a pop-up appeared on screen.
See, I told you she was looking at hotcock.org.
Usually she'd close the window, but this pop-up caught her attention. It read, "You've been selected for a guaranteed weight loss program." Ita was intrigued, so she clicked the link and she had access to a brand new weight loss product. New You Noodles. The bump explained that this was a brand new diet programme which would only cost her €9.95 and absolutely guaranteed rapid, permanent weight loss in weeks by eating specially developed noodles. Ita decided what the hell. She tried all the other fad diets. One more's not going to hurt.
Is this going anywhere? I've got to go and empty me back.
2 days later, a package arrived. Over the next week, she logged onto the site to fill in her online weight monitoring chart.
Online weight? Trey's high tech, huh?
No, it was the simplest diet she'd ever been on. All she had to do was eat only the noodles. And right enough, for the first time, the pounds started melting away. She felt fitter than ever, and along with the pounds she lost her cravings for snacks. Yeah. Within a month, the new slimline Ita burger stood in front of a mirror, looking great in that size 8 dress she thought she'd never wear.
All right. What's in them noodles? They're worms or something, aren't they?
Au contraire, Inspector Gadget. Ita received an email from the New You Noodle Company congratulating her on reaching her weight loss target. And a ticket was on its way inviting her to visit the New You Noodle Company factory in Switzerland as their guest of honour.
So that for $9.95? That's some deal.
A couple of days before her flight, Ita's tummy was a bit tender and she didn't feel like eating at all. She wrote it off as the excitement of the impending trip. There was a warm welcome from the New You staff, and after a quick tour, she was introduced to the inventor of New You noodles, Dr. Licky Ming. Ita told him of how well she'd gotten on, but she felt it was important to tell him about her recent tummy troubles. Dr. Ming didn't seem all that concerned. He said it was just her body adjusting and reacting to the special noodle formula. But just to be sure, he'd give her the once-over.
I'd like to give her the once-over.
Dr. Ming gave Ita an injection, and the next thing, she was on an operating table with a team of surgeons carving her up.
What? Carving her up? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, they wanted to observe how their guinea pig's insides were coping.
Guinea pig?
Ita wasn't part of a new diet program. She was the new diet program. The pop-up mail was no coincidence. She was specially selected to be a test case for New You noodles before they were put in the market. Dr. Ming was disappointed to find there were still teething problems. The genetically modified noodles were designed to expand inside your digestive system for a number of hours, thus suppressing your overall appetite. However, instead of eventually dissolving, they were backing up. This was a major setback. New You noodles had to go back into development.
But what about your one?
Sure, all she was to them was a lab rat. What they didn't keep as reference in a jar ended up in the New You crematorium.
The bad bastards, huh?
Look, for $1 billion product like that, they couldn't afford to have Ita Burger blabbing her mouth off about side effects. She was no more than a number in the research budget. And she certainly wouldn't be the last.
Do you know what? That is me starving. What do we have for dinner, huh?
Oh, it's your favourite, Rodge.
Oh, shepherd's pie, huh?
No.
Well, it must be roast pork, so bring it on.
No.
Well, what is it? I'm salivating here.
Right. Well, it's a big pot of nothing with a side order of marinated shag all smothered in sweet F.A. gravy.
You're a bollocks.
Hey, hold on there, Angus Young. Huh? I kept you some dessert.
You did? Fair play. Oh, what is it, huh?
Absinthe apple tart with creme de air.
You're a bastard, you know that. Huh?
True, but not just a bastard. A happy, sneering, and very full bastard.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you have prawns as a starter, did you?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Now that's lamb. You had lamb.
What do you do?
And mint sauce. What did you have for dessert? Wait a minute. That's custard and apple, huh?
Good guess. How about this one?
Oh, Jesus. No, that just smells of shite.
Yeah, pass me the property section now. You need to put a deposit on a pile in Dublin 4. Oh, Jesus. That's uncomfortable.
Jesus Christ.
Rodge! Rodge, where are you?
Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby!
Hey, that baboon stopped squirming. I think it must be done. Do you want brain or buttock?
A bit of both.
Right, brain it is for you, so. Good man.
Oh, come here. You're not going to believe it, right?
What?
For once, I've got a story for you.
Oh, I can't wait. No, wait a second, I can.
Huh?
You know damn well I don't want to hear more than 3 words out of your mouth at a time.
But
half a sentence is more than I can take.
But
that's repetition, not a story. Jesus, all right, well, what's it about?
It's great. You're going to love it.
I regret this.
Right. Farmer Queenan.
No. You lost me already there. No. I know what. I'll tell you a feckin' story. Huh?
Right.
The Jockster Casey was a great man for the gab. He practically lived in his local, the bloody stool. And even after the smoking ban and trendy makeover, he still sat at the same spot, propping up the bar from opening till closing, regaling whoever would listen to his stories of the old days. Scams, heists and shenanigans, when he was a member of the notorious Dockers.
Jesus. He was one of the Dockers. Jesus, they were a vicious bastard gang, I can tell you.
Jockster wore his history with pride, and he liked nothing more than engaging a crowd of young, up-and-coming heads with his hard-necked exploits during 50s and 60s Dublin.
The 50s and 60s, huh? Penny apples, skipping ropes, and the flash of a fanny for a halfpenny.
Jesus, what in shite would you know about the 50s or the 60s?
Huh?
The nuns had you locked away in the attic.
Yeah, but they couldn't lock away my dreams.
Jesus, where's the feckin' key?
Oh, Jesus. No, not the key, Podge, not the key.
Relax, Anne Frank, and let me tell the tale.
Oh.
The crowd would gather around Jockster as he'd tell in perfect detail about the day they blew up the mailboat in Grand Canal Dock, pocketing 300,000 in unmarked brick notes. Now, he'd become an expert storyteller over the years, with the guarantee of many a free pint from the enthralled audience, always ending with the line,
How do I know? Because I was there.
Come here, how come if he was a member of the Dockers he wasn't in jail?
They're the kind of questions that his audience would ask, and Jockster would relish in replying.
Let me tell you about me time down in Mountjoy.
And with that, a whole other story would unfold. One evening, Jockster had just finished telling a small group about the time the Dockers derailed the 7:15 Belfast Express, when a young man approached. He was in awe.
Were you really a member of the notorious Dockers?
I sure was, pal.
The young man shook his hand and bought Jockster a pint.
Were you involved in that mad kidnapping in '68?
I was indeed.
Jockster was impressed at the young fella's knowledge and proceeded to tell the tale.
Was it a long tale? Because, quite frankly, if I miss one more episode of Sex in the City, I'll completely lose track.
Jockster told how he and the Dockers gang had kidnapped the McDuffets family.
Oh, the butter baron.
Oh, yes. Worth a fortune he was, and would undoubtedly pay top dollar to get his family back. But as Jockster revealed, Mr. McDuffet wasn't as cooperative as he should have been. The Dockers had to show him they meant business. So they bumped off his missus. The gradually expanding crowd were all ears as Jockster admitted he had pulled the trigger.
Pulled the trigger.
It had to be done.
I was.
They were tough times, but that was then, and this is now.
This is now.
More drinks and pats on the back after another great evening's performance. After closing, Jockster was heading home when he was confronted by the man from the bar.
I've been looking for you.
Male ho, huh? €5 a show, €10 a blow.
Jesus, the young man explained how he had been looking for Jockster all his life.
I've been looking for you
ever since 1968, when he lost his mother.
Oh, shite.
No! Jockster protested as the now grown-up Tom McDuffett plunged a knife into our Jockster's guts and left him to bleed out in the alley as revenge for his beloved mother.
Jesus, huh? Oh God, you know what? There's bound to be repercussions now doing an old school gangland boyo like him in.
No, because he wasn't an old school gangland boyo.
But you said...
No, he said.
Huh?
Jockster was never a member of any gang, let alone the infamous Dockers. He was merely a fly on the wall in the bloody stool, as he loved nothing more than eavesdropping on the real Dockers. In fact, Jockster knew so much that he became a stool pigeon and grassed up the gang to the guards. But there was no glory in grassing, so over the years, whilst the real gang languished in prison, Jockster took their exploits and made them his own.
Billy feckin' liar, huh?
Yep. But he never banked on his tall tales tearing a hole in his guts at the hands of one of the victims of the gang he never belonged to.
Jesus. Loose lips sink ships, huh?
Yeah, loose arseholes talk shite.
Right, now, you've told your story. I want to tell mine. Right.
Okay, well, you tell me the story while I do a bit of pottering about. Would that be all right?
You're going to love it.
Oh, I will, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, I love this story, all right.
Oh, right. Oh, right, now. Farmer Queelan, right? Oh, God, he had this donkey, right? And the donkey's name was... the donkey's... Shite. Hello, Rodge present.
Hello, I mean, hello. Yeah, it's me. Just calling to say, what a great story you're telling altogether.
Oh, right, I haven't even got to the good bit.
Shut up.
Give a head like a football, you know that?